Welcome everyone back. This is a weekly video for Project SSL for week 2 of year 1. So what Project SSL is a weekly digital journal in which I keep track of my progress and trying to reach SSL in once. So for this week, we were able to hit about 28 matches, which is about 8 matches more than last week, which is an improvement. And we're able to go up one division from C1 Div 3 to C1 Div 4, which is also good as well. I was at the end of last week, I was planning to do more matches for once, but all of this week I was catching up with some friends that I haven't played Rocket League with since I didn't play Rocket League for the last year and a half. So I just been playing with all of pretty much everyone that I was playing with back then this week. So which is I won't take that for granted. That's, amazing, of course. So it's just trying to find the balance of training and playing with friends. Although once I start school, I'm planning to more focus on the training and then play with friends, maybe like a day or two out of the week instead of half or more the majority of the week. So let us go into this replay over here, and let's start that while I go over what notes I took over the week. So for Sunday was I didn't practice any mechanics for ones. There were more of fast aerials, some shots, aerial plays, and flip canceling. So about half of my training was on aerials, the other half was on car mechanics and shots. I did 5 matches after that session, in which I needed to improve my shadow defense, as seen in some of my replays. I need to practice where I position myself. I also need to practice on my aerial defense. When I go up for aerial defense, I'm always left wondering when I should go challenge. That is an issue that I need to work on. And I want to improve on my Moxie kickoff. So the Moxie kickoff is not really where when I'm jumping towards the ball, it's that needs work. It's probably the speed flip. My speed flip right now isn't the best, I would say. I'm hitting it about 60% of the time in kickoffs. So once I improve that more, I feel like the Moxie kickoff would be more effective. So going into Monday, I didn't do as many once matches. I did about 8, which is okay, I would say, for just focusing on ones games. And that I needed to work on more of my aggression. There are times where I just give too much space to the opponent by going to the back corner boost while they're collecting the ball and able to set up for either a dribble, ground to air, or whatever sort of attack that they have. And I also I need to work my ground to air more. The setup, I feel like it's okay as well, but I need to work on the bump aspect of the play. Because when I try to go for bumps, I either overshoot it or I mostly overshoot it at times. So I need to practice on tracking the opponent. For Tuesday, it was practice day as well. Since it was practice day, I only did one ones match, and the only thing I put that was I needed to work on my aggression. That was the thing I was focusing on. Excuse me. That was the thing I was focusing on, in order to try to catch the opponent off guard. And also, I put that when trying to go for kickoffs, instead of focusing on the car when doing the speed flip, to focus on the ball. I figured that part out. Of thinking of tennis, in which the usually the mentor or the trainer usually tells students, instead of focusing on the racket, to focus on the ball when trying to hit it in order to get better placement. So that's my thinking of it, and it has worked out. I said it improved it from 60% to around 70% of the time, so get speed flips. So that's a huge plus. I'm going into Wednesday. We had our once matches, and this day I did a lot of matches. I did 14 matches, which was a grueling session, I'd say. At one point I was down 5. I was 3-4-7, and I made a comeback at the end with a 4-game win streak. But throughout that session, it was very grueling, taxing. I'm not sure if I'm able to replicate that many matches at a high performance, so I might just knock it down to only about 8 to 10 one matches per one game sessions. And that in that session, I took note of my flicks needing to be stronger. They're not as effective as before. I said when I was back in GC 1-1s about a year and a half ago, my flicks were more deadly, so I need to work on that. Again, I put ground to air dribbles, and I put drink water before every match, so you don't feel dehydrated, or you get your mouth gets dry when playing a match. And then Thursday, Friday, I didn't really practice or play ones. I was catching, like I said before in the video, I was catching up with friends of all sorts from all places, which was awesome because I hadn't talked to them in a long time, and I hadn't played with them either. So it was just great catching up, seeing how everyone was doing, and I was telling them about what I want to do with ones and how I want to rank up again, and get back on the ones grind. And yeah, that was some pretty good times I had Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday, I didn't do any ones matches or practice because we celebrated my dad's birthday. So we went and watched Superman, and which was a great movie. I recommend it to anyone that wants to go see a good superhero movie, I'd say. But I was able to do a coaching consultation call with a coach called Grayson. I got recommended one of his YouTube videos on my feed, and it looked like he's a great coach. And after talking to him in the consultation session, I booked a replay review session with him, in which we're gonna focus on one of my once matches, and I'll let you guys know that part next week, and I'll tell you guys what we took note of and what I can improve on. So let's see here in my notes. So I'm planning to change. There are going to be some changes, especially since I'm going back into college for my final year. So I'm planning to change my Rocket League schedule. So what I'm planning to do is changing the days from full training days to training 20 minutes at a time, and then doing 1 or 2 matches. And then after one or two matches, I'll look at what I can work on, and then from those different mechanics, I'll look at which ones I can practice, and that would be spent the next 20 minutes after. And for days where I'm only playing one game, I've changing it from just playing ones to watching an SSL replay. Oh wait, my bad. So what I'm doing for days where I've just played one games. I'm watching my own one's game, just one or two, and seeing where I can improve on, and practicing those improvements for 20 minutes, then play another one's game, and then do that for another 20 minutes and play another one's game until I hit around an hour and a half to 2 hours. And for the days where I'm training mechanics, I watch an SSL replay, and then I practice. Excuse me. I practice mechanics that they perform, not the fancy ones like a reset, like a resets or double resets, but more like more basic hits, such as hitting the ball off the wall while the ball is flying midfield and trying to hit it towards the net with power. So mechanics like that I could practice. And yeah, that's about it. And also, I'm reading a book on that's called Peak, which is on trying to figure out the science of mastering skills, especially in sports. So I'm reading that type of book. One thing I've taken from it is how one was able to increase their memory by increasing the amount of. So let's say you're trying to remember a string of digits. If that person can only memorize 5 units or 5 digits, if they're able to memorize it, they'll increase the amount to 6. If they cannot memorize 6 digits, then they go back down to 4. Then if they go back up slowly, back to 5. And then if they memorize 6, go back to 7. And if they fail, go back down 2, and then continue on as much. So I'm trying to see if I can factor that into my training to see if maybe let's say like I want to practice my air dribbling skills. And it's like if I cannot dribble a ball from a distance at regular game speed, I reduce the game speed. And then once I able to hit certain air dribbles at that game speed, I slowly increase. And if I can't, then I decrease again. So I'm trying to see where I can implement that. And lastly, I would say I'm going to be changing my streaming schedule from 3 days a week to 2 days a week, just because I'm starting school. So I want to see how I am going to feel after school days, or after my classes, to see how tired I am. So I'm just going to be going from Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays to Thursdays and Saturdays. And yeah, that's about it. If you guys have any questions or any recommendations of what I could do, leave them down in the comments down below. And I'll catch you guys next week.